Hey everyone, welcome back to HQ in the Know with Adam So Fun. I'm Adam Ratliff, and I'm so fun. That never gets old. So today we are continuing our HQ kind of information and what you should expect with the machines and all that jazz. And we're going to actually talk about the screen when you get an Amara, a Forte, an Infinity. It's a little bit different when you purchase maybe the Moxie or a 16, or the Capri, but they all kind of have similar things. It just depends. But we're using the Amara, so this is gonna mostly come in with the Amara Forte and the Infinity. So again, just like always, you can see the big tablet. That's because we have Pro Sticher. But if we have Pro Sticher, everything's integrated now, which was super exciting because there used to be a screen down here for all of like the machine stuff, and then you had the tablet above it. So they were able to integrate everything into one tablet. There's a little tiny gray box up here. You're not gonna see it, don't worry, you'll see it whenever you have yours at home. But I'm gonna tap that gray box. We have some options that pop up, and I wanna hit the HQ button. And that's gonna bring up our Amara screen. If you are on the Infinity, it's gonna look like an Infinity symbol instead of the HQ. So, oh, you know what? Let's bring you in close so you can actually see what's going on. Give me a second. All right, so now we're up close and personal with our Amara, and we have our Amara screen. Now, I can move this. I can put my finger on it and drag and drop it, not a problem. So maybe you're working in Pro Stitcher and doing both. You can move it out of the way. It will disappear, but we know how to get it back. So we've already talked about these two buttons. This is the manual and regulated mode. We've already talked about these, which is our regulated cruise and regulated precision. So let's talk about some other things that are going on the screen. We have a hand wheel. Now this is a real hand wheel, and if I touch it and move down, you can hear the machine taking that stitch. So that's a way to take a stitch if you want to use the hand wheel and not use needle down, needle up. Down here, this is our tie-off function. It's set to 5 right now. So what that's telling us, on the handlebars of the Amara Forte and Infinity, we have programmable buttons. I can go in there and tell these buttons what I want them to do, and I can set it to a tie-off. Now, it doesn't make a knot. The icon is a knot. What it's doing is going to do some micro stitches, really small. So as you move the machine, it does a really quick tie-off. So that's this, and we'll talk about those programmable buttons when we actually kind of get into that screen. This is needle down, needle up, and whatever color is green is where that needle is going to stop. I like to stop needle down, so I usually have mine look like that. This is your easy set tension. So right now this machine says the tension is set at 43. Now that's very important because this machine, or all of the different machines are, this number is machine specific. So maybe this machine is 43 and it's perfect tension for the Omni V that we're stitching with today, but maybe your perfect tension for Omni V is 55, or maybe it's 22. It's all machine specific, but what makes this number so great, and we'll talk about this in the tension video, is that anytime you use Omni V, assuming that your bobbin is still tensioned correctly, if you're like plus minus 2 to this 43. So I usually, when I'm working on my Infinity, which I have my tensions, I can preset some and just tap a button to have it go back to that for me, which is one of the things I love about my Infinity. When you're switching between threads, you kind of just keep a log, like, okay, I'm using Omni V, it's 43, I'm using King Tut, it's 38, and it's really easy to just turn as you turn your tension dial, that number changes. And again, we'll talk about that a lot more in the tension video. This bobbin right here is a Bobbin Alarm. And if I touch it, right now it's set to 0, so the alarm would have went off to say, basically, you have no bobbin left. When I touch it, it's gonna give me a number. And this one right now is set to 84.1. It's not a length, it's just an arbitrary number. But what is awesome is you can go in and you can record how long your bobbin works. So maybe you like to use a specific bobbin thread. You load your bobbin, record it. When it's empty, you go in and you stop the recording. And then every time you change that bobbin, you just tap this, it resets it. And if you're doing an edge to edge design and this says 5, you know that bobbin is going to run out, so you can change that bobbin before you actually get to that point. So it comes in very, very handy. So that's the main screen. That's the home screen of our Amara. I'm going to tap the lights. We know that Handi Quilter machines have really great lighting. So if I go into the light, we have our 2 light bars that the Amara has, and it shows you that one's in the neck and one's at the needle. And you can turn them on and off independently. So I can turn them off, I can turn them on, I can use my finger and dim them, or I can just turn them all off with one switch. So maybe you're using rulers and that ruler is reflecting in your light, or you're stitching something on a bright white and you can't really see what's going on. It's really easy to go in and kind of adjust that lighting per your needs. It's something I do a lot, especially when I'm using rulers. I'm going to hit on the hammer and the wrench. This will show us how many stitches the current project has taken, how long you've been stitching. You can set an alarm to say like, hey, you know what, in an hour, or that's a minute, but tell me it's time to stop stitching. So you can set an alarm to remind you about some things. There's a calculator, so if you need to, maybe you're chunking your borders and you're like, okay, well, my border is 80 and I want 10 repeats. You could 80 divided by 10, which is 8. But maybe it's 82.586 divided by 7. So you can come in and actually use your calculator. This is where you would go to update the machine. This is where you would play with, you like update your tension and some diagnostic tools. Most of these things you're not really going to touch. Maybe you had a call to your tech and they said, oh, let's try this if you had an issue, but most of the time we're not touching that stuff. So now I'm in the cog, or the gear, and we have another set of options down here. This is that bobbin alarm I was telling you right now. So right now this is a preset. It's a 40 weight bobbin, and that number is 81 or 84.1. It's just a random number that 40 weight bobbin should work with. We have a 50 weight bobbin, we have a 60 weight bobbin, and a so fine bobbin. So maybe I'm using a 50 weight thread, you know, now the number is 130. So that's where I'm going back to the home. So I changed that bobbin. Do you see this number went down to 0? When I tap it, assuming I put in a new 50 weight thread bobbin, I get 130. And now I can just stitch my day away until that counts itself down. I told you about those handlebars. These are the programmable buttons. So if I hit this down arrow, and the star is going to be on our left hand, it can be nothing. You can make it nothing. You can have it a start, stop, needle up and down. You can increase, decrease your stitches, do a tie off. With the Infinity, you get a lot more options. You can actually, if you have Pro Stitcher, turn them into channel locks, which is one of my favorite things because I do a lot of straight line quilting. But let's make this one back to a tie off because that's what I'm used to it. And the diamond can be a needle up and needle down. The other thing that's great about these machines, if you're left-handed and you decide to get one, you can switch your handlebars. So right now, this is what the sticker on our right handlebar looks like. And we have a plus, a play pause, and the diamond. But if I touch this button, that easy is switch those to have the start and stop on the left hand and the needle up and down on the right hand. So it's a thing a lot of left-handed people don't know, but you can make it so that start and stop is on your left hand. The other thing you can do is keep your needle down, keep it regular, and just turn the star into a start and stop. So we're always trying to accommodate everyone and make sure that everybody's comfortable when they're stitching. Here's the laser light at the needle. You can turn it on and off. You have some alarms. This is a thread break alarm, your stitching too fast alarm, and your bobbin alarm. Your tie-offs, again, usually it defaults to 5. I like mine at 5, but you can turn it up to 10. You can turn it down to 1. You don't even have to use it if you don't want. And then this is saying, let's talk in English. Or you get to pick your language, because we do sell around the world. Number 1 around the world. And then the icon, or the eye icon, shows you some other things: your lifetime stitch count, how long the machine has been stitched on, what software version you're using. And this does come into play later on. Maybe there's a software update and you can check that here. And maybe you're going to trade your machine up. You want to trade it in and up. they might ask you, well, how many stitches are on your machine, so they can tell you what your machine is worth. So that's our mark screen. We're going to pull you back so you can see the handlebars. I do want to show you they are fully adjustable, which is another fantastic thing. You used to have to purchase micro handles and some other things, but they've really thought about everything in making these machines as customizable for the user as they can be. So we're going to pull you out a little bit so you can see these handlebars, and I will show you that in a second. All right, so we zoomed you out. You have to see my shirt, right? So handlebars, they're fully adjustable. You see these knobs down here, they both have two, and I can turn one. I always tighten them really tight. So that makes, they're adjustable independently. So now my left one can go up and down. If I turn the other knob, I went the wrong way, it goes in and out. So if I wanted a micro handle, but just on my left hand, I now have my own micro handle here. I can turn the other side to do the same thing, and it's really easy to just kind of turn those knobs. The other thing, there's our star button, because I was talking about the star and the diamond. So the other one has the diamond, but there's our star. So because these are fully adjustable, you can set them up exactly how you like. Maybe you don't like them straight up. Maybe you want them tilted just to the side a little bit. That's great. You get to do you. The other thing, if you're someone who's a little bit shorter, maybe you're worried that you're not going to be able to reach the back of that machine. They also telescope in and out, so you get a better, an inch, maybe an inch and a half of extra of room, because these telescope out and kind of give you that extra reach. So it's always something I talk about. Let me screw this in. If it's not tightening up, here's a tip. Pro tip: if it's not tightening up, you're going the wrong way. So make sure you don't want to unscrew this all the way out. It's a pain. It's really hard to fix, to get everything lined back up in there, because there's also all the controls and everything that the handlebars control. So loosen it up a little bit. If you turn it twice and it's not tightening up, don't keep turning it, because you will just take that screw out, and then you might have to take it in to have a tech actually put that back in. So pro tip, things you learn here at HQ in the Know, right? So that's our video for today, just talking a little bit about all the functions that we get here. As always, like and subscribe to the Stitch House channel. Make sure to follow them on Instagram and Facebook, and then go follow me, Adam So Fun, and that's SEW on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever I might be. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.